China's eyes, why 43.4% need glasses. Welcome everyone to Give AI. Here is a fact that should shock you to your core. In China, nearly 43.4% of the entire population, including both children and adults, requires vision correction. But amongst high school students, that number doesn't just rise, it explodes, hitting 80% or even higher in some studies. This isn't just about needing a new prescription, this is a China vision crisis exposed that reveals far more about the modern world than we care to admit. The question is not if they're nearsighted, but why this hyper-competitive, high-stakes nation is slowly going blind. The immediate answers, more screen time, genetics, are too simple, too comfortable. We have uncovered the full, complex China myopia truth, but I promise you, the real, unsettling truth will only be revealed in the final moments of this video. You need to see this to the very end. Let's begin by looking at the raw data, but let's frame it as clues in a terrifying puzzle. Clue number 1. The myopia rate correlation. Most people assume this vision epidemic is a simple function of genetics, that certain Asian populations are simply predisposed to nearsightedness. That's what's comfortable to believe. But the data shows something else entirely. When researchers track Chinese children who move overseas to countries with different schooling systems, their rate of vision deterioration dramatically slows down and, in some cases, stabilizes to levels far closer to their new national average. Think about that. The genetics didn't change, but the environment did. This immediately introduces a massive contradiction to the common belief. If it's not simply genetic, then what is causing this extraordinary acceleration of a health crisis? We have to look at the timeline. The China myopia secrets revealed really began to escalate in the 1980s and 1990s, accelerating violently with the rise of the modern, intense, and single-minded focus on academic achievement. We're talking about a competitive system so rigorous, it is globally unique. Reports from top ophthalmologists, the very people trying to reverse this trend, present a unified front of disturbing facts. Take the amount of near work. Studies repeatedly show that Chinese students can spend anywhere from 4 to 6 hours per night on homework alone, and that's after a full school day. This is not casual reading, this is intense, focused, near-field reading under competitive pressure. The second clue in our investigation is the hidden power of the sun. The human eye, as it turns out, needs light, specifically the intensity of natural daylight, to regulate its growth. The current scientific consensus points toward a protective role of outdoor time against the elongation of the eyeball, which is the physical root of myopia. But here's the problem. In many East Asian systems, and particularly in the most competitive urban areas of China, students spend astonishingly little time outdoors. Academic pressure is so high that parents often view outdoor play, physical education, and even lunch breaks as wasted time that could be spent studying. The system itself enforces this idea. One study of Beijing children found a significant association between poor sight and less time spent outside, along with a higher study load. It's not just the amount of light. It's the distance you focus on when you're outside. The eye muscles get a necessary break, focusing on objects far away, a type of visual exercise that is starved inside a classroom or at a desk. So, we have the competitive pressure creating the need for extreme near work, and we have the systemic prioritization of study over free time, which starves the eye of protective outdoor light. But this still doesn't get to the core of the problem, the systemic vulnerability. Why is this so much worse in China than, say, Germany or the United States, which also have highly competitive educational environments? What is the China myopia deep dive revealing about the real story? We're still missing a critical piece of the puzzle, a hidden factor that connects the societal drive to the biological outcome. What is the one thing they cannot change, and how is the government attempting to cover for it? This is about more than just glasses. It's about a nation paying a profound long-term biological cost for its success. But that's not even the strangest part. Let's shift our lens now. Here's what no one is talking about, and this is where the clues from the first half start to intersect to reveal a devastating pattern. The simple explanation focuses on near work and lack of sun, which is true, but that overlooks the stress component. You see, the phenomenon of high myopia is most prevalent in the most academically advanced and economically developed regions. This is the central paradox. Success is literally costing them their vision. This isn't just about children reading a book. This is about students spending 4 consecutive hours under the harsh, often fluorescent glare of indoor lighting, with the constant grinding anxiety of the Gaokao, the National College entrance exam, looming over them like a guillotine. The China myopia impact goes beyond prescription strength. High myopia, defined as a prescription greater than -6 diopters, significantly increases the lifetime risk of irreversible vision loss from diseases like retinal detachment, glaucoma, and myopic maculopathy. The nation is building a world-class economy, but it's simultaneously creating a massive public health time bomb that will cost billions in future healthcare. Experts are clear. The problem is not a factor. It's the perfect storm of factors unique to a society driven by this level of hyper-competition. The government is aware of this. President Xi Jinping himself has called for action against the national epidemic. They've rolled out mandatory time limits for screen use, required schools to ensure a minimum of outdoor time, and even launched national campaigns. But here's the irony: the China myopia hidden facts. These top-down mandates are fundamentally at odds with the grassroots societal and parental obsession with a single goal of academic supremacy. The parents who see the future of their child's entire life resting on a single exam score are the ones subverting the new policies, keeping their children indoors, and piling on more homework. The system creates the pressure, and the parents internalize it, ultimately trading their child's long-term sight for short-term educational success. We now have all the pieces of the puzzle: the intense near work, the lack of protective outdoor light, the psychological stress of the Gaokao, and the cultural priority that overrides government health initiatives. We've established that this isn't merely an Asian genetic predisposition, but an acquired societal condition. This isn't just about the prevalence of nearsightedness, it's about the broader implication of a society prioritizing a single metric of success above all else, even the fundamental health of its future generations. But we still haven't named the core, overlooked pattern that drives the rate of deterioration, the singular biological price being paid for the Chinese economic miracle. It's a subtle shift that makes Chinese eyes especially vulnerable, a crucial China myopia analysis that brings all these points together. What is the one truth they can't escape, and what is the one thing they need to save their children's sight? The most important, surprising, or transformative truth is this: the system, the pressure, the lack of sun, it all converges on a subtle biological tipping point. Chinese children, on average, are born with a slightly lower level of hyperopic reserve than their European counterparts. Hyperopic reserve is the small degree of natural farsightedness a young eye needs to have to keep the eyeball from elongating. Because the average Chinese eye starts with a smaller reserve, the intense near-work and indoor lifestyle pushed them across the line into myopia faster and earlier than any other population on Earth. The genetic factor isn't a cause of myopia, it's a vulnerability to the extreme environmental pressures. They are the same eyes, but they are subject to a uniquely punishing set of conditions that robs them of their natural buffer. This information has been ignored because it forces the uncomfortable conclusion that to save their children's sight, China must fundamentally change the intensity of its education system. That is the one truth that ties all of this together. Now that you know the China myopia exposed reality, I have to ask, what do you think about this? Do you agree that academic pressure is the true culprit, or is it simply a matter of technology? Have you experienced this yourself in any other hyper-competitive environment? Share your thoughts below. If this opened your eyes, like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to Give AI for more deep dives like this.